Welcome to my channel. My name is Emily if you're new here, and I'm an aspiring author currently working on the first draft of Project Stargazer, my portal fantasy with a magic system inspired by the stars. I'm getting better about my pitch. If you're a frequent watcher of my videos, first of all, hi, thank you so much for being here. Second of all, I know what you're probably thinking, Emily, where was the Nespresso B-roll as an intro? Is your Nespresso machine okay? Yes, she's fine. She's just getting some much deserved rest because she actually does carry the B-roll for this channel on her back. And we're actually starting today's video at lunchtime. It is noon. I've been really in the thick of it with adjusting to my new role, working in office, going from being permanent remote to a hybrid employee. So I haven't been writing as much as I'd like, but hopefully that changes today because I'm working from home today and it's almost time for lunch. And I actually have a very exciting day because I have not one, but two writing dates with some fellow writer friends. Neither of them are in person. They're both virtual because of the nature of AuthorTube. We're all kind of a little bit all over the place, geographically at least, although at least for myself, sometimes just generally all over the place as well. That said, I just wanted to say hey and kick off today's vlog. So it's gonna be a writing date kind of day today. So I'm very excited. I just recently got out of a writing slump, or I guess I should, hope that that's not jinxing anything, but been in a bit of a writing slump for the last little bit, and I'm hoping that my writing sessions with my two friends today are going to help pull me fully out of it, because I think I'm mostly out of it for now, but you never know with these sorts of things. So first up, I have a call with Becca very shortly, Becca Tobar. I will link her channel in the description box down below, but if you don't follow her, and you enjoy my content, you will love her content, so go give her a follow. She's currently working on a cozy 90s ghost story, working title Project Eden. I've been loving following along with that, so super excited. I think she's gonna be working on Eden today. I'm gonna be working on Stargazer. We're gonna do a little FaceTime writing date. It's gonna be so fun. And then later this evening, I have a writing date with my critique partner, Sarah Jane, and she is working on Project Crown, which is a Greek mythological fantasy. She's working on draft 3 of that manuscript at the moment, and I'm pretty sure when she's done with draft 3, I get to beta read it, so very excited. But we've all been kind of struggling with our word counts lately, so having this dedicated time together to work on our stories is hopefully gonna be just what we need to get us back on track. But first, I'm gonna whip up my favorite work from home lunch, which is a sandwich. Yes, so let's go make my favorite work from home lunch and then do some writing. I need you to look at me. Becca is just out running some errands, so she's gonna go right from Barnes & Noble, which is exciting. And then we're gonna do a little call and start writing. But I was trying to think while I was making my lunch what scene I want to work on today. And if you don't know, I've been doing a lot of world building over the last little bit, and I have plans to do like a fun plotting exercise. I did an outline already and it had like mixed results. I will say, like, I enjoyed populating the outline, but as soon as it existed, I immediately like abandoned it and taken the story in a little bit of a different direction. So that one wasn't super effective for me at this stage, but I think I'm gonna really like reverse outlining once my draft is done, once my first draft exists. All this to say, I really have been spending a lot of time on world building and specifically building out the magic system and the religious systems that exist in this story, because there's a couple differences, I guess, like cultural differences for the way that like my two main cultures interact with one another and with their sort of shared religious system. I'm not going to say more than that just because I don't want to, number one, accidentally spoil something, or number two, tell you something about my story that ends up not being true in a later version. So basically all that you need to know is I'm working on world building right now. So I keep going back and forth between whether I want to write a scene or work on more world building. I'm probably going to start with the world building, but also every time I say what it is I'm going to work on, I end up working on a completely unrelated thing. So it's really anyone's guess. I'll update you at the end with what I actually decided to write, but at least for now, that's kind of the plan. I'm gonna eat my lunch while Becca gets ready, and then we're gonna do some writing, and I'm very excited.
Hello! Oh my god, not us matching. This is so cute. Our like main character and her family are a part of. So basically she's going to this place. She feels a lot of dread about it because she's not live, laugh, loving life at the moment. Being writers, it's so weird because you have to know everything kinda, or like be able to research everything to be like, I don't actually know how a government is overthrown, but I guess I'm gonna look it up, or I don't know how to build a building, but if they're building a building in my story, I guess I need to learn. So I have my little like physical timer too, so I'll plop that one down as well.
Early, so I was like, oh, I'm almost done. Pretty good, honestly. So I wrote 602 words, which is more than I thought. I'm excited when I get 250 in like a 30-minute session, so that is major. Yeah, I feel like I made a scene that I was just using to like do world building actually practical, and now it attaches to another scene that I had. Yes, thank goodness. Yeah, I had no idea what I was gonna do with it. Basically, she like finds out about. What about you? How was your session?
I am also really shocked. I got 550 words.
Oh my god, okay, look at us.
And I feel like I finally got out of my own way. I feel like the thing that I was actually running into was, you know, when your brain is like so stupid that you literally can't even think of forming a sentence like that. I think that's how I fit with it. That's why I've been like dreading it. But when I wrote this the first time, it was not nearly this good. It's still pretty bad.
Okay, no. I bet it's great.
But yeah, I'm pretty happy. Like now I'm like kind of like, okay, I feel pretty good. I'm a third of the way through where I want to be in the draft. So I feel like this happening right now is actually like a really good spot.
That's so good. Oh, I'm so glad. Hello, it is much later now. It is currently 6:30, so I have about 30 minutes until I have my call with Sarah Jane tonight. So I finished work a little later than I expected. I had a couple of things pop up last minute, so I did not have time to go get my nails done, which was originally part of my plan, but I did have time for a very reliable handy dandy bagged salad, which is perfect for, honestly, a Friday night or like any weeknight after work, especially if you're trying to do something. My writing session with Becca, as I'm sure you would have seen, went so well earlier. We both got like more than 500 words, which was amazing. And I feel like we both hit a really good point in our stories, which it just gives you the momentum to like keep going. Because I don't know about you, but when I'm writing, if I don't have like a clear picture of the next step, I can get overwhelmed really easily. And I've been finding that I've been getting overwhelmed more quickly with my writing as the story progresses. And I think this is just because it's been a long time since I've spent this much time on a piece of creative writing. So trying to give myself grace, trying to not, you know, come for myself more than is necessary, while also obviously wanting to put my best foot forward for this manuscript because the story is very important to me. So now that all that's out of the way, I had a great conversation with Becca, as always. I'm so glad we've connected. So hey Becca, if you're watching this, thanks for the chat, thanks for the words, it was great, and I'm really excited to write with Sarah Jane tonight. So in the 30 minutes or so, tiny little gap that I have between the end of my workday and my call with Sarah Jane, I think I'm going to upload the footage from earlier and get started rough cutting that just to make my life a little bit easier this weekend. As it stands right now, I have so much unedited footage on my camera, like on my SD card and also on my external hard drive. So I'm working my way through it, but we are way behind where we expected to be, and I don't know why I thought I was going to be on top of everything because I just had a major life change. So I'm doing my best. I'm hanging in there. We're trying. Anyway, I'm gonna go do some editing, eat my dinner. Also, word count from the first session was 602 words, which that's a lot for a work day. So I am really curious to see what my final word count is gonna be. That's the update on my current writing progress. So hopefully everything goes well and I have more words to report later. Okay, here's glitching. Hello. How's it going?
Good. How is it going for you?
It's going. It was a busy day at work, but I've done a little bit of writing already today. I wrote at lunch with Becca, so I am just a double header. I'm doing a double header for writing sprints, but my project is grateful because it's been a minute since I've done much with it. Oh my god, that's so exciting! That's so fun. Bask in that win. That's good. Mine was like a little bit worse than last time, but honestly not bad at all. Sitting at 1,411 words for the day. So I got what, like 300-ish that session? So not like amazing, but not bad. I started writing in the same chapter that I was working on the first sprint. And then I realized I wanted to work on something else, so I jumped around. So I think I actually ended up putting like 50 to 100 words in about 3 different places, like give or take. And I ended up doing a lot of sort of rereading of content that I'd already written for a couple of chapters that I think are like later. All the talk of like Act 2, Part 2, and Act 3 made me kind of go back through my chapters and go like, okay, which ones do I know are, you know, distinctly Act 1, 2, or 3? Like, which ones do I know right now? Which ones are like kind of in that who knows, could go either way kind of state. So I think the 3 that I edited from are all Act 2. And I'm realizing they're all Act 2. So I think I have a lot more for Act 2 than I originally thought when I sat down today. So that's good news. Okay, So I just finished my call with Sarah Jane. That was so fun. I feel like I was really overdue for a good writing day, and I always am so grateful for the opportunity to connect with other fellow writers. I think hearing about their stories and getting their perspective on some like plot elements that I'm struggling with, or like organizational elements, because one of the things I talked about a lot in that call was the fact that I'm having a hard time figuring out what goes in Act 1, 2, and 3. Because I've written a bunch of scenes that are kind of disjointed and I don't really know for a couple of them. Obviously some of them it's very clear what act they belong to, but for honestly more than I expected, they could either sit in Act 1 or 2 or Act 2 or 3. So really just kind of getting clear on, at least for the existing scenes, what act they belong to has helped me feel like my project is not as bad as I was thinking. Like it's actually further along than I thought. So I thought I would just share my total word count for the day, because I think I'm going to call it here. It is 9:15, so it is getting kind of late and I got very little sleep last night. So for today, for March 21st, I have written 1,411 words, which I'm pretty happy with. I'm not gonna lie, I wrote 602, I believe, over lunch, and the rest of them came from the last 2 sprints that we did. So feeling really good about my word count. Haven't had an in-scene word count day that's been over 1,000 words in quite some time. So I'm feeling pretty good, pretty accomplished overall. So I guess today is an example that even if you work a full-time job, if you work 9 to 5, if you have other demands on your time, it's still possible to carve out some space to write if that's something that is important to you. Because I know I am somebody who always says, oh, I'm too busy for that, I can't do that. And while I do think that's true, some days I just don't have the bandwidth. Today reminded me that when I make time for it, I actually do have a lot to say. I do have time. I can find it. And some days, obviously, I'm not going to be able to, but it feels really validating to know that I can still hit 1,400 words on a day where I also work an 8-hour day and give work my all. And I don't have to choose between the two. I can have both, which is nice. So if you are in a similar position, if you're a writer who has a day job but also feels called to write, just know that it is possible. It's not going to be amazing all the time. Having a really solid community has been helpful. Meeting my friends through AuthorTube has been such a wonderful experience. It's really reminded me that writing is something I love to do, and writing alongside other people is like, it doesn't get much better than that. So if you are somebody that I've met through AuthorTube, thank you so much for the impact you've had on my life. And if we've not met before, if I'm a stranger to you, I hope that this video showed you that it is possible to be able to work full time and to really lean into your corporate job, but also to save a little bit of that creative energy for yourself and your own pursuits, because that's what I have found has made me the happiest. That said, I am gonna end this video here, but thank you so much for watching. I wrote 1,411 words today, and I feel pretty good about saying that's all she wrote. If you're still watching, comment this emoji in the comment section down below and let me know if you are working on a project, how it's going. I obviously just came out of a writing slump, so having a word count like this today is huge for me. So if you need a little bit of encouragement, or if you can offer some encouragement, leave that in the comment section down below. As always, that's all she wrote. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!